wanted to be a secretary, but my dad wanted me to be a teacher. It just seemed like fun. Back then, girls weren't executives, and it was about the closest thing I could think of. Well, my mother always sewed, but when it really hit me was when I was in college. My spiritual gifts would be hospitality, working with kids, teaching middle high kids. My passion, my family. At one point in my life, I had to decide what matters to me, because I only have a certain amount of energy. And it didn't take much planning to figure out 4 things: God, my family, Fish Company, and Catalyst. Catalyst is middle high ministry at Van Dyke Church. Middle high kids are my passion. I like teenagers. My purpose for still being alive is serving God. It's a long story to explain my passion, my purpose, and who I am and why I am. About 11 years ago, I was addicted to oxycodone and alcohol. I was born with a back problem. I've been in chronic pain all my adult life, and I was medicating. Doctor prescribed it, kept prescribing it, insurance company kept paying for it, and I kept taking it. And my body said no more and shut down to die. And I didn't realize what was happening, nor did my family, until it was time to call the ambulance. I remember laying in this quiet room, remembering the emergency room, and all of a sudden, this is serious. I might die. They think I'm going to die. That's okay. I'll see Jesus and I'll get a new body, no more pain. But then I thought about all the times that I didn't do God's will. And I was very sorry. And I said, okay, God, dying's fine. But should you choose to allow me to live, I'll do a better job. I'll do a much better job with however much time you give me. And I woke up and I thought, well, I guess it wasn't that serious after all. It was 10 days later. I expected immediately God to give me this huge ministry because He kept me alive. And it took a little time to realize God doesn't owe me an explanation. I'm alive. I will do what I said I'd do. I'll make the most of every minute. And at first, well, I had to get my life back in order. I had to go to drug and alcohol rehab. And my body did not like being without the oxycodone. It was painful. It was hard. I did not just jump right out of bed and say, here I am. I felt at one time I'm not doing anything for God. Looking back, I was making pillows for Kids Place. I was going to prayer meeting, but it didn't seem like anything. One Sunday I made up my mind, I will not leave that church until I talk to Sherry Leatherwood, who was, at the time, director of Middle High Ministries. I walked in, opened up my bulletin, and there it said, we need help in Middle High. So I thought, well, I got to talk to her now. And I went up to her and I said, Sherry, is there any chance you can use an old lady? Do you sew? Well, sure. You're an answer to prayer. I think those are the 2 turning points in my life. I am still amazed by how God has allowed me to be used. There have been a lot of times that I have been challenged to do things that I think I can't do, or discouragement. But every time that happens, something wonderful happens. I had a box of brown t-shirts left over from middle school, and I dug out a pattern and I made a lot of baby dolls for her to take. When she came home and we started figuring what we're going to do, the girl said, Mom, why don't you make some babies? And I did. We developed the pattern we now have and the clothes we now have. and we were to use those for God, wow, this is great. I get to do what I love, and I'm serving God. How can you beat that?